Welcome to Creamer Media's Resources Watch, a weekly video roundup of the events and people making and shaping the news in the mining industry. This week, the CSIR Robotics department has a project for hard rock mining. And there's no sign of South Africa's pledged infrastructure as Aveng gets a R19-billion Australasian orders boost. The Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has a project to employ robotics in underground mining. Keith Campbell reports.
The Mobile Intelligent Autonomous Systems Group is responsible for the CSIR's robotics research. Mining Robotics Project Manager Liam Kand explains what his team is doing.
So the hard rock mining industry in South Africa, that's gold and platinum, they mine in 3 cycles. And in between when they blast and when they remove the ore that they've blasted, they have to do a safety inspection. At the moment that's conducted by people and it's quite a dangerous task. And so what we're hoping to do is have a robot that can go in and automatically do a preliminary inspection and generate a risk map for a miner who has to go in after the fact. Basically we want to take a human being out of a really dangerous, dirty job. We've got our platform and we've started doing some of the preliminary work around solving the problems around mapping, path planning, motion planning, localization, and we'll have our first demonstrator out towards the end of this year.
Kand explains the kind of problems his team will have to overcome.
Well, you can imagine if you're doing above ground robotics, you have, for starters, the advantage of GPS. So you have immediately, even though even differential GPS struggles to tell you with pinpoint accuracy where you are, even the crudest GPS can tell you in general, within 100 meters or 200 meters, it can give you a global location. When you're underground, you have nothing like that. You're in an environment which has no beacons, very few distinguishing features, and not much in the way of landmarks, basically. It's dark, it's wet, it's muddy. It's difficult to identify one position underground from another, and so this is a major challenge in doing any kind of robotics underground, especially if you want to be able to do the job without going in and instrumenting your environment, if you want the intelligence to be on your machine. So we're using largely non-vision based methods. So most of our localization is based on laser, time of flight cameras and inertial sensors. And then we've also got some novel localization schemes involving RFID tags, for example, SLAM using RFID. SLAM is simultaneous localization and mapping.
Construction and Infrastructure Group Aveng indicated that there were still few, if any, signs of the R1 trillion infrastructure expenditure that had been promised by the South African government over the past few years. Terence Creamer reports.
We are seeing a divergence between strength in sort of the commodities-led businesses versus those public sector areas.
Yes, 41% of our business is mining related. We're seeing strong growth in terms of LNG in Australia, open cast mining holding its own quite nicely. But certainly, I do, however, feel that it is going to come. If you see the diagnostic of the National Planning Commission, they talk about the underinvestment in public infrastructure as a huge impediment to South Africa's growth trajectory. So I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
For mining news as it breaks, stay logged on to miningweekly.com and register for our free daily newsletter.